Yo, I don't know. I'm still learning this Instagram live thing. Um, Hold on. Join again. Hey, I don't know. I'm still learning this Instagram thing. Um, right, can you hear me? You should put the volume up. Actually, I don't need the earphones anymore. Hey, can you hear me? The I think with Instagram, right? You can't have a live for more than 1 hour. I just I didn't know that. I'm just yeah, I can hear you great. So it's a good thing the other one is stuck there. I think you can't have a live stream on Instagram that is more than 1 hour, so it's just gone off. And I guess it's stuck in the other one. I've got two phones anyway, so I just use the second phone to log in. But I think just so it doesn't end on an abrupt note, just obviously, can a man rape his wife? Yes, it's possible. Can you rape your long-term relationship, long-term partner? Yes. No means no. Don't mind them. They want to disturb our group. You're just having a ball. So can they do stuff like that? Yes. And I think the most important things I've picked out of today's chat is no means no. If a person says no, it means no. Do not push further. If you're a good guy, you'll step back, because obviously, I when I speak with men, I use business because men relate more to business. I'm like, if you're in your office or your business partner, your partner says, "I don't want this," are you going to fight them and force them? You look for a way to make it happen, and if it's not going to happen, you let it go. The same way you go about your relationship with your wife. If a woman says no, no is no. And to be honest, to protect yourself, if you are a good guy, if really you are a good guy, someone says no, you need to leave them alone, because at the end of the day, you don't want to get yourself in trouble. You understand? You don't want to get yourself in trouble. So that's what I will that's what I would say about that. And for women, please stand your ground. Please, I know it's difficult, in abusive relationships, because I talk a lot about domestic abuse. In abusive relationships, it is going to be very difficult for you to stand your ground. Hey, we can see her now. Hello. But I don't know why you have your camera on. I don't know why you have your phone on.
I'm
There's
telling
something there.
I
You
have
need to
to
say,
use I have to use my other line to see how to get in there. I don't know
all
what
right,
is going on.
everybody, Lady Bride, bound. That's a
Hello,
great
finally.
comment.
I have to
Yes,
change my phone. Like really, I don't know what's going on.
yes. So
My son,
basically, I was
sorry.
just going to wrap it up like saying,
Yeah,
if you're a good guy and you have this woman and she says no, please leave her alone, just to avoid problems. Avoid problems for yourself. Find a way to get her to want it, and then obviously, if you know your woman and she's a troublemaker, don't even try to walk your way up. If she says no, just leave her alone, because even when you try to walk your way into making it happen, she's still going to turn around and say it's rape. If you're a
yeah,
woman, stand your ground. Let your no be no and let your yes be yes. Now,
yeah.
if you guys have a normal relationship, there's people that laugh and joke all the time. Yeah, you can say yes. Also, because I said no, you just went away. Even work in that
Exactly.
kind of relationship. But
Yeah.
yeah, sorry guys. Instagram apparently just does 1 hour for streams, so that's why I got cut off at 1 hour. So if
Oh,
you're a
okay.
woman as well in a relationship where it be like say this guy they craze. You understand? In those kind of relationships, or it means like I'm dating a crazy guy. In those kind of
Yeah,
relationships, they don't do the yes no answers. You have to stand
yeah.
straight. And then in terms of domestic abuse, right? Usually, like I say to people, it's not on the first day that the guy will hit you or try to shout at you. It's over a period of time when he's used certain ways to get into you, so that by the time he
Mhm.
actually shouts or hits you, it's almost like there's nothing. You're already broken. So in domestic abuse, where rape becomes one of the things, he's literally not going to rape you on the first day. It is
Yeah.
after a period of time, at the time where you've actually broken down in so many ways that would be one of the other things that has been added, and it might be a
Yeah.
bit difficult. You have to actually speak up. However, saying that, I have actually, when I was much younger, I used to hang out in my uncle's office, who is a lawyer. And those hanging out in his office, I used to hear all kinds of things, because he used to be a deeper life pastor. And so these people used to come and he would tell me to stay there. Maybe he was trying to teach me something, because the stories I used to hear there, I was like, man, what are you talking about? Seriously? You understand? Like, so we actually got raped on the first day of my
marriage.
You know that those deeper life women, most of them were virgins. So you can imagine. There was this one story, and then, those things, some people, in some cases, it actually starts, the rape starts from the first day. You understand? So imagine on your first day or with your wedding night, you got raped. It means that that's going to be the pattern of the relationship. Now, it takes a lot of strength, one, to talk about it, and then, or to walk out of that relationship. It's quite hard. I don't know. Like, do you have anything? There's a couple of guys there. Amaze, do you want to say something from the man's point of view? I've tried to defend men all day, I mean, but there's only so much I can do for you guys. You type it in there, so I can read out your comments. But also, Mario, that's a advice for the women and the men out there. Anything just to wrap it up,
Yeah, I just think that people should be patient. You should be patient with your spouse. Like, I don't know if I should share this, but I feel that maybe to help someone, like when I got married, I didn't really know jack about penetration and all that. I didn't know that. So I got married, and I mean, I didn't even, I didn't know. In fact, my husband too has never had sex before. So it was a crazy one. Dot, if you laugh, I'm going to come in there and deal with
I have it straight, right? I'm not going to be honestly.
So we got
married anyway, so so carry on.
So we got married, and then the wedding night. I've heard so much, about intercourse. Hey, what is going to be your wedding night and all that. And then I got married, and then we could not, because I didn't even know. In fact, I didn't even know that the place, the how will I put it now? I don't want, this Instagram, so I don't know what their restrictions are. But the vagina, I didn't know. I felt that maybe there was another hole somewhere that this penis would enter, because I was like, how can this thing get in there? Because I was so, he too. In fact, eventually I had to send an email to my friend to help me out. Like, I don't know what is going on here. We can't, this is 2 weeks after marriage, and we didn't know anything. My friend now told me, okay, you need to use KY jelly and all that. So I just feel that sometimes he could have just said, I think it's this place, let me just push through and just go ahead. I would have been in. But because we patiently waited, now got counsel from my friend. She now said we need to use KY jelly. That when we eventually had, intercourse, it wasn't, even though it was painful and all, but because we had a lubricant, it actually helped. So that's being patient and understanding as a man, not to just feel that, the night has reached now, you're telling me story and story. So you say you don't want, now the night, and then you just force your way through. It actually affects the psyche of the woman. She will never want to have sex again because of the pain and the trauma. But because it happened in an understanding environment, it really helped. I didn't have, fear of, sex and all that. But that night actually made me to know, you don't really know anything. All the things you're reading inside book. Practical is actually different from theory. So, but all I'm saying is that people should learn to be understanding. Don't just think that, okay, she doesn't just want to, something is wrong with her. Sometimes it could be that something is actually wrong. But first of all, come with the understanding approach. Okay, how do we work this? Then when we eventually progress in marriage, I now say getting tired, because I'll do house chores, I'll still go, I'll do work, come back, I still have to take care of. I was tired. So anytime he comes and like, hello, I'm like, hey brother, stay, hold it. I can't function. I'll even be irritated. I was so irritable. And he was like, okay, you know what? Okay, let's make this work. Maybe we should get somebody to help out. Or you don't have to even do anything. As in, all the jobs you need to do, don't do them all at once. Maybe split it up. Anybody that comes and sees your house is maybe unkept, that's the person's business, But we women, now want to do everything. Sweep, clean, wash the clothes.
So literally what you're saying is that your husband said, leave the house dirty. Anybody that comes, tell them we are making love. We
You are
want to
talking
bond
now.
with them. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one. Nice one.
Now you are talking. But that's the truth. Because eventually I was now, relieved. When he comes back, I'm more welcoming. I'm prepared. But I was so stressed. You're doing this one. You now go do the ministry work, come back, and then somebody is telling you hello. Like, what is going on? Please calm down. Meanwhile, he went to work, so you think that he's tired. Well, guys are not wired like that. In the office, there, he's actually thinking of how he's rushing.
Sorry, I make jokes all the time. Why do you think that they call men horsepower?
Because they're not like women. We women, we are, I don't know, we are programmed through the day for sex. If something triggers it, maybe he sent you a love message, or maybe he just said something nice to you. As in, we're wired with, words, attention, or he does something nice, Yeah. So all your mind that day, you're like, your body is calm. The oxytocin has been released, But when the man, once he's seeing, he just picked in his mind, or he's just, let's go. He can just come back and immediately he wants to go, So, but the woman is not really like that. So that's why they call them horsepower, because they're on the go. We are not like that.
Oh my days. Oh my days. Right, one of my people has just come in. Yeah, welcome. This is our second part. We're on it, and we run out of time and cut us off. But we're having too much fun. We came back. Yes. So I think in a nutshell, what it is that in normal relationships, because in normal relationships, things we're talking about can be achieved, where people are talking, they seek counsel. A man sees his wife while he's doing his do, and she doesn't seem happy. She's not talking, and he will stop and like, what's going on? Because he wants to enjoy it. He wants to see her happy. Yeah. That's my post that I'll put out later. A real man that has feelings will not want his wife to cry, or the person he loves to cry. There's the other kind of people that if you like blood, you understand. It doesn't make any difference. So when we talk about communication, understanding, setting your boundaries and stuff like that, of course, yes, in a normal relationship, that's going to work. And even if he erred once, like he's gone ahead and done it, and you're like, oh no, I don't like this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't have done this when I was asleep and stuff, he would understand, he would apologize, and probably won't happen again. You have a conversation. Of course. However, we have the other category of people, which is domestic abusive relationship or abusive relationship. It's a give and relationship is compromise. Yes, relationship is a compromise. Yes, I mean you're right. In abusive relationships, yes, most times the person that is being controlled. Now we're talking about rape, so usually women are the ones that get raped, because I defined at the beginning, rape is actual penetration. Men don't get penetrated. So sorry guys, you can only be sexually assaulted. Yeah. Sorry guys. So I think in most abusive relationships, women, victims, which are the women, they can't talk about anything. People control who they speak to, where they go, they isolate them, so they don't have a voice about anything. And then slowly, the whole idea of forced sex is introduced, and domestic abuse escalates in pregnancy, which is quite terrible. So you have women who are pregnant in abusive relationships, but they're still forced to have sex all the time. Some of them have some of them carry on. Some of them have a child. It was in 2005. I was with someone who had just had a baby, and she was telling us a story. That story I can't get it out of my head. Where the person that was in the next bed from her had just had a baby, and on the second day she could hear some moaning and some like coming out. So she peeked. The guy was there. Finally, he was literally on top of her having sex with her in the hospital, and she couldn't walk. So she was just like, and well, she's a Nigerian girl, she's quite cute. She's like, hey, what's going on there? Stop what you're doing, And then the guy jumped up, because normally it's not her business, but she couldn't understand, because she was thinking, I just had a child. I can't imagine anything happening to me right now. And then this thing is happening, so she was like screaming. Now, this is an abusive relationship, obviously, and for that sort of thing to be going on, you can imagine that this person in question, the victim, cannot talk about anything. Now, imagine if that's happening in the hospital, what's going on in her house. And besides, she just had a child 2 days ago. So the things we discuss here, we're trying to get our head around. In normal relationships, you'll be able to make it work. You'll be able to say, my no is no, or my yes is yes.
Yeah.
But in abusive relationships, people know to an abuser. If they are not the physically violent people, you know, if it's the ones that use emotional, you know, and emotional and psychological manipulation, they will use like insults, other ways, like everyone with you, you're a lesbian, you're this, they insult you, they might shout, you know, they might say, okay, that's it, you don't want me, I'm just gonna go out there and have an affair with somebody else, it's your fault, you know, and stuff like that. So when in marriage, your body is not yours anymore. Amazing has come with something. He says, in marriage, your body is not yours anymore. Very interesting. See, that's why I wanted the men to talk. And I said this at the beginning. The Bible says that inside marriage, man, do not deprive your woman of something. Woman, do not deprive yourself of something. This is the word of God.
You know, when in marriage, yes, your body is not yours. Your body belongs to the man. But in the marriage, while the marriage is on, I can assure you that sometimes even the woman, like when you're on your period, and then the man now wants to have intercourse, and you're like, really? I mean, in that situation, this one is, it is no more my body is not yours, my body is my body. It's still my body. It's still my body in the marriage. Yes, it is my body, it belongs to you. We understand that fact. But sometimes, this is I mean, like sometimes towards like when I was pregnant for my first child, when I was pregnant for my first child, at some point the doctor said, no sex. No sex, because my placenta was low lying. So if any forceful penetration, the placenta will come out. So immediately he heard that. I mean, my husband just stayed clear, like, okay, let's leave this, you know, this thing, we can, you know, there are other forms of pleasure. It doesn't have to be, you know, penetration, and then there are other forms of pleasure. So it has to, when you're talking about two people that understand themselves, not one that is wacko. I mean, you should understand your body is our body. I agree. In terms of, okay, I want to make love now, and then you don't feel like it. I mean, if I say no, it doesn't mean that tomorrow I will say no. You can just, I mean, that is what love is about. Compromise. Okay, just for today. Okay, I'll just allow you be. Tomorrow, you know, I'm horny right now, but you may not be. Okay, tomorrow, let's, you know. So it's don't stop smiling. So
no,
it is.
Stop smiling. Said a man once told his wife to use condom while she was on her period. That's why I started smiling, because I'm reading the comments.
Oh my God.
That's why I'm smiling, not because of what you're saying.
Oh my God. You know, this thing about, you know, making love while the period is on, it can be so inconveniencing for the woman. Her body is not even releasing the love making, those fluids, oxytocin and all that. She will not enjoy it. Her body, the fluid that is supposed to be coming out will not even be coming out the way it's supposed to come out, because of the period. So you actually be having sex with so much friction. So she will be in so much pain. So, I mean, if you're so horny, calm down. Go and drink Coke.
Just to comment on something that Amazing has said. He said, you'd know if you were married a wacko if you had conversations before. Now, to kind of touch on that, sometimes you don't know, especially in Christianity now. Like I was saying to someone, a lot of times, first of all, people don't marry their friends. You need to. I actually did a video saying that friend zone is devilish, because the truth of the matter is, if you don't marry your friend, who are you marrying? Husband material, because that's what they teach in church. You get to the age of marriage, you find the sister in the choir or in the ushering department or someone. You guys are adults. You meet in church for your drinks. You don't talk. There's no interactions. There's absolutely nothing. You have 6 months to marry, 6 months courtship, if you're lucky. Some of them actually 3 months married, 1 month married. So the normal, like redeemed and the rest of them, 6 months. You should have proposed, and after you propose, you have 3 months to marry to avoid the temptation to have sex before marriage. So people don't discuss how can you talk about sex in the church setting. Even to the brother, look at this girl don't spoil, oh. Even in marriage, sorry, this girl has spoiled. Even in the marriage counseling, they don't talk about it. The best they can do in marriage counseling in those kind of churches is you people should just, it's like they can't talk about it. So there are things that you don't even know. People don't know. So at the end of the day, you don't even know you're marrying a wacko until you enter inside. Because when we talk about abuse of people, narcissists, yeah, they can pretend for as long as they need to until they can get in love with them and committed. So you potentially, because of the way it works in church, it's quick. You don't have a long time. If you have a year or 2 years of dating somebody, if you've known somebody for 3-4 years, you have the time to know, okay, this one, there's something not right there. You understand? Church and religions. In some religions, like Islam, you don't even court, you just marry them. So these are the issues. These are the issues, So sometimes people don't know. So I don't blame people for they enter marriage and they find out that, okay, this person might be a bit crazy, because a lot of people hide it. They hide it very well. And then some people don't know what crazy is. So they may have seen some of the crazies, because I meet a lot of people that are in abusive relationships or have come out, and the first thing they say is, why did I not know this? I did a video on Wednesday about if you might remind me, what was the name of that video now? It's old age, I don't remember the name.
Something on
might be abused. People
might be abused. Yes.
People have been commenting, and somebody wrote something and said, I wish I knew these things before I got married. So the problem is that some people, the Bible says, flee from, I hate to quote Bible, but yeah, let's just do it. The Bible says, flee from all appearances of evil. But if you don't know what evil looks like, because your mind of evil is something that you don't know, you've pictured evil as a particular thing, so you don't know what it is. A lot of people think that the devil is black and ugly, darkness. So for them, nothing good can come out of darkness. But the Bible says that the devil, Lucifer, appeared as an angel of light, not as an angel of darkness. So definitely, to be honest, in darkness, midnight, that might be where your blessings are. But you've been taught that everything dark is black. Come at midnight and pray and destroy all the devils. Even though angels are coming in the night, they are all demons. But daytime, anything that appears in the daytime wearing white is good. So people don't know where they saw it, but they didn't know, especially all those church over sheltered people. And then when they've experienced it and come out of it, their comments are, I wish I knew these things. So yeah, you can't marry a wacko. You can marry a wacko, a crazy woman or a crazy man, and not know. So it's just what it is. So that's why we spend time trying to create awareness. People don't make these. It is so delicate to Iran. After 23 years of marriage and 4 sons, that is a lifetime.
Wow. Thumbs up.
But well done, it's not an easy decision to make. Some people will just be
we'll just be there.
After 2 years, 55, silver jubilee, before 50, they'd rather just stay, because you've managed it for so long.
Yeah.
You must have taken a whole lot of courage to come out.
Yeah. Must have taken a whole lot, because people don't like to once we're inside here, based on, and this thing. People, there's always this stigma. Oh, you left your home, your marriage, you left, and they will now. There's always blame. Okay, it must be your fault. Maybe something you did not do right. Maybe they don't know. There are really some crazy people out there. Like I've been saying this, some people should not be married. I think maybe there should be some form of psychological, like if there's some track record of some people that have some of these crazy mindsets. I don't see why those people will now go ahead. They just go and marry one person that has no, and you're not getting there. You're like, what is this? I think the crazy should marry the crazy, not the crazy marrying the sane.
Well, the crazy don't want the crazy. They want the same people, because it's only the same people that will put up with that nonsense. If you marry a crazy person,
you're right.
The girl will tell you, I don't want to hear pen. You understand? And that's it. But you say, no, I don't want to have a broken marriage. They've told me that I should honor my husband, I should submit, so they will just be there. And what people don't understand, the longer you stay in an abusive relationship, both men and women, it breaks you down psychologically. It kills you literally, spirit and body. You're just a walking corpse. So whatever they do to you, it just keeps happening. So that's why when you come out as a man that has been abused or a woman, and you tell your story, people are like, how can you let that happen to you? But the truth
Yeah.
is, you broke down so much in the marriage that you were just existing, and then you just like gave up, even though you're still living, and said, whatever, you know.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Mm.
yeah, I would say to anyone in an abusive relationship, it doesn't get better. It doesn't change. It doesn't change at all. So yeah.
I always say that if you're being if there's violence in the relationship, and then you're losing your mind and all that, go leave the place first. Leave that place first. Look for a way to get out of that place. Get out of there first. Think of you. Think of your children. Look for a way to get out of there first before you now start. Before you start saying, okay, the guy is working on himself. Most times they tell you, don't worry, we are talking to him. The family will come into it and all that and all that. Before you know, the person has died because you're waiting for the family to settle you guys. So it's better to leave that environment first. I don't know why there's always this stigma with, okay, the person has left their home. There's always this, it's so sad, but it's actually there. So people don't want to go through all that. Like, no, let's just patch it. Let's just patch it. So you're just living with somebody that you're scared of. You don't know the next day whether you're going to wake up alive, because anything can decide to do anything to you, So, but it's good that there's an awareness now going on. So sometimes, like I tell people that are courting, ask a lot of questions. When people are telling you something about someone, try and dig deeper. Try and ask. This thing about information. Somebody sent me recently. Somebody just sent me a message that this is the girl you wanted to marry. So I said, okay, send me her picture. Let me see her Facebook profile. He sent me her Facebook profile. And I immediately, when I went through her profile, I said, there's this recurring guy, go check that guy out. I said, just ask her about the guy. He was like, he doesn't think that there's any. I said, just ask. I don't know. I was just, and he left it. Unknown to him, this girl, that guy that I flagged was actually, in fact, she was engaged to that guy. As in, they've actually done traditional rites on her head. Can you imagine? And yet she got engaged to this other guy. So sometimes just information online. Another person, this one, I just clicked the guy's name. When she sent me the guy, I just put it on the internet. And immediately I saw wanted. So there's some information that you can actually find out from even close friends to, if you go on Facebook, you see mutual friends. You can even ask mutual friends. You can just find out something. But just leaving it and saying, the Lord spoke to me. We know the Lord spoke, but sometimes this the Lord spoke can get us into so much trouble, because it could be something else that spoke to you, or based on something. That is why you reacted like that. So sometimes we should not just act like we I don't know, so that you don't get into trouble. That's just it. That's just it.
I said, honestly, I like what you typed there. I think I might create a poster with it and coin it and put my name like I said it. You don't mind? I've known you since I was a child. So I like it. It's going to make me look really, really, really intelligent. He says, the true problem is we exert so much energy trying to prove we made the right decision to naysayers that we endure what is not needed. And that's exactly what happened, because it's so down to society. Because I mean, when I do my videos, right, even though I kind of speak from the woman's point of view, but it's abuse, right? It's abuse, and it's also, I tell men, like, just split it, and whenever I say he said, just put it in the context that it makes sense to you. I said something that a lot of times, right, society makes people not want to leave, because you're thinking, what are people going to say? You're going to come a single mother, for a man, okay, you failed, you could not manage your wife, you could not manage your woman. People look at you like, what's wrong with you, And I know a guy that spoke about his issues around, an abusive woman. And, women is more of the psychological and the emotional. Yes. Be friends, and their response was like, guy, if you can't, let me handle her for you. So you can imagine, that is kind of, it made him feel broken, like you're telling him he's not man enough. So a lot of men want it, and they want to make it work. And like I say about abusive relationships, right? The longer you stay in it, like, it breaks you down.
up to the point where you can't do anything, and then it becomes more difficult to leave. Now, when the abuse starts, it's actually easier for you to leave then. But because you're thinking about what will church people say, what will my family say, what will my friends say, how am I going to tell them it's not working? How am I going to say this and that? And then also some of the things that go on in abusive relationships, like obviously the topic of today is spousal rape. Imagine a person that is constantly being raped. Like, how do you even talk about that as the issue? Because a lot of times when people say there's a problem in the marriage, well, we've not seen you with a black eye. You look good in what
exactly.
People are looking for this kind of thing. How do you tell them that my problem is that this guy rapes me? So it's difficult. Society makes it very difficult for people to talk about it. This yes, so people make it difficult. Amazing is cracking me up here. Society makes it quite difficult, but I think I did one of my videos a while back, which is when people ask like, what advice will you give to people about relationship and marriage? I said, well, one thing is when you meet someone, like don't be in a hurry to get married. I know church has like time frame. Within the 6 months propose. After 3 months married, it cannot be more than 1 year. If not, there is a problem there. So it's like take out time to know them. I also, if you had the opportunity, like you need to pick someone who is your friend, one of your friends. Don't have a husband material, a wife material, but you have this girl that you talk to about all your problems and she can answer. That's your wife there. You need to switch it. And you need to talk about your relationship to your friends and your family. A lot of times people don't want to talk about it because if I talk about this guy I've met, they will now come and spoil it and the marriage will not work. You're going through issues. If you keep your relationship as a secret, especially when there are issues, you will never know the truth. You will think that those things are right. Now, there's some people that have lots of experience in life, So when they see something that is wrong, they might choose to keep their mouth shut just because they want to get married. But there's some people that don't have lots of experience in life and they don't know these things. What you need to do is talk about these things so that somebody might tell you, hang on, this thing is not right, or hang on, this thing is right, And then, but people don't talk about it. When I say talk about your relationship, you don't go and start gossiping. This guy doesn't even have money. Wow. This one, that's gossip. That's unnecessary gossip. I'm talking about the real truth. Like the way he speaks to you, the way he speaks to his friends, the way he treats you. Like, is there something you feel? And I'm like, if there's something inside you that is saying something is not right, try and
something is not right.
Just go with that instinct and deal with it. Even though there is one really sad case where the girl in question kind of felt like some of these things, they don't seem like they're okay. Unfortunately, all the people around her were all sheltered people and church people, and she was like, this guy calls me all the time, he can't stop looking at me, I just feel like then there's a term for it called love bombing. You understand? So love bombing. Sadly, the people she spoke to were like, you are so lucky. I can't even get my husband to look at me like that. I can't even get my husband to call me to
that attention.
This guy literally followed me to the toilet. Like literally the guy followed me to the toilet, wait outside, talk to her all day.
Flag, for heaven's sake. Like
but she actually spoke to people around her and they said, you are lucky. And she was like, okay, it feels a bit, but okay. She entered into marriage and proper started, So it's people should look out there for information and don't hesitate to talk to people. If you feel uncomfortable about something, to be honest, even if you can't talk to anyone, Google is your friend. Just Google. Just say, he follows me everywhere, and then read what comes up. He calls me all the time. I can't understand his emotions, or I can't get anything right. Or you just Google this thing and then see what happens, what comes up, and you begin to read and then find out about it. Amazing. Let me see. I'll read what Amazing said. And you can respond to that. And we'll wrap it up in about 10 minutes. So if anyone else has questions, start lining up your questions now for the question so that we can wrap it up. Amazing said, my ex used to beat me, and I couldn't retaliate because I would have gotten locked up. With no blood, I could have crushed. Okay, she's a skinny thing. I could have crushed with my pinky boy. Yes,
Better not to use that.
I know Amazing is what, about 6 foot, he's got 10 pack muscles. So I mean, even reading here that he had this skinny ex, which I think I met her. She used to like hit him. It's like, oh boy, you sure say the apple like that, Anyway.
Of course.
But when you see and when you see his ex-wife, it is not. You would think that this is hard to believe the story. So a lot of times, like, what would you say to a man like that, like with stuff going on? What would you say to someone like Amazing?
You know this thing, if you're in that kind of relationship where is your wife, the wife is the one, abusing the husband or being violent.
Yeah.
So I because you know that if I retaliate, there will be a big issue. And then, it makes no sense trying to retaliate. It's better you gather your things. You may actually maybe go and report the case, maybe get what do they call it, like maybe screenshots and all that, so that you can be able to report the case if you want to take it up. But the first thing is leave that environment. Don't be there, because there's a limit to somebody's anger, because somebody is always hitting you. Before you know, one day you will just hit her, and it's the one that you hit her that will be blown out of proportion. So it's better, because you will not face the law, and nobody wants to know. People hardly believe that a man is being hit by the spouse. People don't believe it. What kind of story are you talking about? But if you have your evidence, make sure that you have some form of evidence. Maybe put camera and all that. Make sure you have your evidence, so that in case of anything, you have some form of evidence. But don't try to retaliate. If you hit her, it's a different thing. The law always favors the woman, kind of. The law favors the woman. So, if a guy hits a lady, just small hits like this, her face will go like this. But if the lady hits the guy, the face may not even swell or anything. But so your own will look like you did something really, really terrible. Meanwhile, you've been having this abuse for years and years and years. If she refuses to go for counseling, my dear, take your things and leave. Just the way, like Ami said, he left. It's better to leave, so that you don't get messed up. You don't go and get this in your record that you abused a lady or you were violent towards your wife. You don't want that in your record. So for me, take your things and leave that place. Leave that environment. You cannot be anywhere. Once it has to do with abuse, violence, it's better you leave there. Because if you peradventure hit her and then she collapses and dies, what will you now say? She has been hitting me for 15 years. Who cares? Nobody cares about that. So I would recommend you leave there. Don't be in that kind of environment.
Very, very correct. 100% correct. I always tell men, I know it's not easy, because some women know how to push all the buttons, which is why sometimes I wish that men will listen to some of my videos. I know I always say he did this, but I always say, like, switch the gender to what applies to you. The other day when I talked about am I being abused, I listed a lot of things about abuse, and physical violence was just one element of it. Because in a lot of, in relationships with men, when men are being abused, it doesn't always get to the physical bit, but then all of the signs of abuse are there, and then obviously, they don't know how to talk about it. So obviously, if you're going through all those things, then yes, you are being abused. If a man's relationship has gone through all the emotional and psychological manipulation, and it now gets to the stage where she's actually hitting you, the woman is a nutter. You understand? Is a complete and that will kill you or put you in jail. So that one you need to go away. But then if men can understand the signs of abuse, because a lot of times they leave it off for a long time when it gets to the heating part of it, and friends and someone trying to do them at night, and they now understand that, okay, fine, I need to run away. But if you understand the signs, everything going on, people need to get to that stage of her hitting you, because by the time a woman gets hitting you, no, some men marry ultimate warriors. The women start hitting them from
They look like
exactly.
While they were dating, she must have slapped you like twice. So
exactly. But then the women that are covert narcissists that actually use emotional abuse, emotional and psychological manipulation on a man, They do that for a period of time, and when they're still not having their way, they might chip in the few pushes and grabs on your wrist and shoves, But if you understand as a man what abuse is, then you would have realized a long time ago that your wife is an abusive person, and the end product of that is that it will result in violence.
Violence,
It's
yeah.
not like she will push you to the edge where you will now have to push her back and that's jail.
Yeah.
So what you need to do, like Ufoma said, gather your evidence. Like every time she's screaming and yelling at you, please record it if you can. Record these things because as a man trying to prove abuse, it's very difficult. So you need to, and I say this to women as well, a woman who is in an abusive relationship that doesn't have physical violence, you need to gather your evidence because even proving that as well is difficult. Like what? Okay, he doesn't let me go out. He says, no, you chose not to go out. I told her to go out. She didn't want to go out. He said, oh, no, he didn't give me. No, we were broke at the time, so we didn't have money. No, but she has clothes to wear. So it's quite, when it's not physical, it's quite difficult to prove both for a man and a woman. That's why I say, if you know the signs of abuse, right, don't wait to get hit because that one, sometimes it never happens. If you know those things and these people don't change, they get worse. You need to start collecting your evidence so that if you need to prove anything, you can prove it. Or even for yourself to understand what you're going through and know that you need to check out of it. Because if you're hoping that they change, they're not going to change. In fact, Jesus will come back and go again. The person still hasn't changed. The person has not changed. The person hasn't changed. So my people, we're now on the second batch of the second almost hour going. If you have any questions, I'm just reading through the comments. If you have any questions or anything you want for our guests, please pop it in right now because we're going to shut it in about 5 or 10 minutes now. If you have any more questions for our lovely Ufoma all the way from Dallas, please pop your questions in and I'll read it out to her. Ufoma, if you have any words of wisdom for your people, please feel free to go ahead.
Well, I just let's just when you're married, just try and understand your spouse, and then if you find out that you're married to somebody that is not working, it is not working, and then you've tried, maybe you even tried to go do professional counseling and all that, and it's still not working. If I always say, once there's violence in that thing, just take yourself, get out of there. Don't stay where there's violence. Don't be there because you're just setting yourself up for trouble, either you or for your spouse. So I think that is like the best advice. There's actually spousal rape. Don't force your spouse to do what they don't want to do or what they are uncomfortable about. Sometimes it may just be, I'm not just ready for oral sex now. I don't know anything about this thing. I'm just hearing about it for the first time. Give me time. So it may just be, give me time. Understand and give time, not force. Most times when you force somebody to do stuff, it now affects the person psychologically. The person doesn't like it anymore because he just feels that, what is this? So try and understand your spouse. That they're saying no does not mean that. It may also mean that there are some other issues that you people need to sit and talk about. So dig deeper and find out whatever the issues are and sort it out than going for force. Don't use force on your spouse. That's my own
Nice one. So guys, we're gonna wrap it up in a bit. Just bringing it home. If you are, I say this all the time, if you are in an abusive relationship, know that it's not your fault and you are not alone. Please don't stay in isolation because isolation is the breeding ground of abuse. As long as you're isolated and not talking to anybody, your abuser will do all kinds of things, unimaginable things. And the longer you stay in an abusive relationship, you will break down so much that you lose the willpower to leave. And a lot of times, what happens is that you might even become aggressive yourself and become abusive. And you might do something to yourself or your abusive person, which now proves that, yes, you are the crazy person. So abusive people don't change and it doesn't get better. So your best bet is, cut your losses and check out. Like Amazi says, we stay there trying to prove to the world that it's okay, we can make this happen. But instead, what's happening that you're dealing with yourself, you're destroying yourself. There's a post I have, I've not put it out there. It says, when the devil can't reach you, he sends the narcissist to get you. Narcissists are terrible, abusive people. They got like
Yeah.
60 people. So it sounds like a joke. It's a serious thing, you know. The devil couldn't get you, he sent the narcissist. That means the narcissist, this abuser is even more powerful, you know. Talk about the Bible. The Bible doesn't really address domestic abuse and violence. Yes, the Bible does. In many ways, you just have to know how to be helped. You know, in relationships, what happens is that people are broken down by words, put down, insult, shouts, threats of violence, words. Remember, the tongue speaks life and speaks death at the same time. The Bible also says that the tongue is the smallest organ, but you can pull down, words, you know. So in an abusive relationship, what the narcissist or the abuser has is their words. Those words your life every single day breaks you down, spirit, soul, and body. In fact, you die. So you don't have to be hit, you know. Not to put down people that physically hit, but I say it that it is even better for you for someone to hit you. You know why? You come up with that black eye, somebody will see your black eye and understand what's going on. For someone who you're being killed every day with the tongue, with words that are spoken, with actions that no one else can see, you're the only one seeing it. Nobody's going to rescue you. And you know what? Sadly, you can't even rescue yourself. So please, if you are in an abusive relationship, if you don't know what abuse is, go and check out my YouTube channel, www.talk2. youtube.com/talk. Find me everywhere. I'm talking everywhere. You see videos and all that stuff, you know, anything. You just experience the situation so you understand. Do not ever think that people will get better. When it comes to spousal rape and rape in marriages, to be honest, a lot of these guys, they are rapists. And let me just call it as it is. They've been doing this thing all their lives, their girlfriends and stuff like that, which is why in their marriages, they continue the same kind of thing. Because I think that any normal man will understand that I'm doing this stuff, my wife is crying. We'll stop and say,
yeah.
It's not normal. Don't ever think that a man that does these things to you, you know, I don't know if he can even get counseling for it, because it's not normal in any way. It's not normal, especially if you're married to one of those ones, or you're in a relationship with one of those ones that you can't talk to. You understand? A person that drinks and gets drunk and then rapes you. You understand? That's it. That one is even, there's no need. Because what are you going to cure? The addiction to alcohol, the alcohol is not the problem. The alcohol is an excuse to do what they actually wanted to do, because they would have done it anyway. You understand? So people need to understand. And if you're going to, like Ufoma said, talk to your church pastor, the church people, please look for a pastor that deals with relationships.
Yeah.
Yes, not just the regular one. Because I read a story, I can't get off my mind.
Not just
a girl who was being beaten by her husband and stuff like that, or partner and stuff like that, beaten black and blue. They went to her pastor to complain about what's going on. The pastor said it's because he doesn't have a child. If you can just get pregnant for him, he will cool down. Once men have children, they cool down. Better off, make it a boy. Make it a boy. Do you understand? That's the advice. That's the counsel she got from a pastor. How about this guy is beating this girl? Call this guy to order and tell her, move away for now, and let's understand the situation. She didn't know any better. She didn't have anywhere to go. So guess what? She got pregnant. And of course, he was still beating her in the pregnancy. He still suffered and tormented her. Now with 2 or 3 children, she's thinking about how to get out. You understand? So look for counsel. To be honest, like, everybody has that thing inside us that speaks to us. You understand? Call it Holy Spirit, call it Guru, call it whatever. There's something inside you that speaks to you. If you feel that there's something not right about your relationship, then obviously something's not right. Just go on the internet, just type that thing you feel. Come on, I know someone that used to say, my center is shaking. I'm imbalanced. You understand? It sounds weird, you know what? But when you type, my center is shaking, what comes up? Mental health. Or who would have thought? Then there's one lady, JJC lady, thinking, okay, maybe it's just this guy's thing saying his center is shaking. But it's mental health. You understand? So sometimes you hear these things, don't think, what is it? Just Google. Google is your friend, though. Honestly, it's the best friend you can ever have.
Hello, Dot. Somebody said that he stayed, because of the children. And I'm like, no, leave because of the children. You need to leave that place because of your children. I know there's always the children factor, but the truth is that if something happens to you while you're in there, how are you going to fend for the children that you think you're trying to stay for? So leave because of children and look for a way to get your children out of that place, because that person actually needs help. Even leaving your children there is a problem. So look for a way to escape and escape with your children. That's just what I wanted to chip in there.
All right, my people. Amazing has just dropped another one there. He's saying, yes, these are the issues that should be discussed before marriage and stuff like that. But obviously, like we said earlier on, in the Christian marriage, these things are not talked about. I mean, just imagine yourself in front of marriage counseling and you're saying, marriage counselor then. So I like to tie women when I'm doing it. You can't even use you can't even say vagina in marriage counseling. They'll put you on that prayer and fasting. You understand? I like to do doggy. You understand? You can't talk about those kind of things, so they can't even be discussed. And then people meet in the church. They meet in McDonald's and KFC. They meet in public. They don't know each other. They don't know each other at all. These things happen a lot. I think the higher percentage of domestic abuse, this kind of issues is actually coming out in churches and religion. People say, oh, Christian marriages are falling apart, but that's because of the way we're going about it, So,
I remember in our marriage counseling class, the videos, when it got to a particular page, it had to do with oral sex, and the woman said, no, we're skipping that page. And my husband was like,
so they had a page.
They had a page on it. So she was like, no, we're skipping this page. We normally skip this page. My husband was like, no, we need to. And she was like, look at it. My husband was from House on the Rock. So she was like, how can we be talking about? So my husband was like, no, he wants to know about it. So the woman was so embarrassed. She was like, it's not. Children of God are not supposed to do this. So it looks like. So my husband was like,
so yes, that's what she said. Your okay, I remember your marriage counselor was redeemed, but he came from
that's what I came for. So he was so this thing is not really about the church per se. It is more like the mindset of the people. Okay, this is what I don't do. I'm sure if it was maybe a younger marriage counselor, that was handling that topic, even though it was redeemed, I'm sure that topic the person would have handled it. But because of the mindset, oral sex, no, we're not going to talk about this. We shouldn't talk about that. In fact, the man said, we're not supposed to do this as children of God. And I'm like, really? But when you're married, the whole part of the body is that, so some of these things are just swept under the carpet. And meanwhile, you now get married, and then the person you get married to now tells you that, this is the way we must go. We must do oral sex. Like, really? What is this about? Is the vagina not enough? You get? But so it's good that the church now opens up and really talks about some of these issues, so that when you get in there, you know what to use. It's really
maybe I keep saying let me finish on this though, but it's so interesting. I don't feel like going. I don't know who he was, to show you how I mean, when we talk about these things, obviously we're all from, well, a lot of us are from the African heritage, Nigeria. We think that the problem is just with Nigerian churches and they're back, but it's not just a Nigerian thing, because I know that when Koro started, Coco 19, because now when you call the name, they block your thing, so Coco 19, we all know what I'm talking about. When it started, Pat Robinson, Pat Robinson, 700 Club, he issued a statement saying that what is causing Coco 19 is young people are now beginning to engage in some kind of weird things, this oral sex of a thing, exchanging bodily fluids that should not be happening, that this is one of the problem of Coco 19, and this is a problem that we should pray to God to forgive us, and we should stop doing those things. And I was absolutely disappointed in him, because as a child now, who did not watch 700 Club? So it's not this whole mentality about sex and what goes on. It's not just a Nigerian thing or an African thing. It's a church all over, worldwide thing. Some churches are quite exposed, and the ones that are exposed that will talk about it. Other churches will condemn them. But imagine someone like Pat Robinson saying stuff like that. And he said, no, I don't do stuff like that. It's not allowed. He's probably lying anyway. So
I went for a training. Sorry, I went for a marriage conference. Yeah. And then I was supposed to be one of the guests. So they now brought that oral sex topic. And by the time I finished talking, the lady sent me a message, said, no, that's not the way we want you to take it. We want you to take the consequences of doing it, take it from that angle. So to discourage people from doing it. So there's a lot of, so much pretense on the pulpit, in quotes.
Wow.
I don't want to go deep into that, but the truth is, so that we don't deviate from what we're talking about. Everybody understand your spouse. Whatever you want to do, let it be pleasing to your spouse. Both of you should be enjoying it. If she's not enjoying it, my dear, look for another technique. Ask her for something else. Don't force. That is my own. Don't force.
Yes.
Be nice. It's nice.
Yes. Well, obviously, very, 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 very happy. I'm very pleased to have you on the live stream, guys. I know you guys want to stay for like ever. I want to stay forever, but obviously, I have to love you and leave you. And even if I don't love you and leave you, Instagram is going to cut us off in about 3 minutes. So we have to do it. But yeah, so today we talked about spousal rape, marital rape, and is it possible if you're watching it? Had a good conversation. Obviously, the videos will be there on IGTV. So if you missed it or you're just coming in now, you can catch up on it. Hey, life, let's come on. But yeah, the videos are there. Please subscribe to my channel. It's YouTube. In YouTube, I'm talking to YouTube. I'm talking to here, IG, Facebook, everywhere. Facebook, we've got a massive community. Join us. We just argue with ourselves all the time. Argue with yourself, and it's just fun. So please, before I go, if you are in an abusive relationship, please don't stay silent. You are not alone. It is happening every day, every minute. Is going on all the time. Talk to someone. Don't stay in isolation. And please, if you have no one to talk to, please talk to Dr. Come and talk to me. Yeah, let's talk about it. All right, one love, people. So let us start. Amaka said we should start another 1 hour. Oh my days. Amazing. And amazing as well. No, we'll be back. It's every Friday. It's every Friday. Yeah. So next Friday we'll be here. And then the thing is, you can also suggest the topic you want. So if you want us to talk about a particular topic, send me a message or something like that, and we will advertise and we'll talk about that topic next week, Friday. So people, one love, peace, guidance, respect.